Hello guys, in this video we're going to be talking about focusing. Now we're mainly going to be looking at different focusing modes, but I also want to briefly touch upon focusing points in the camera. So if you look through the viewfinder of your camera, you'll notice there's a little square, usually starts off in the middle. That is your focus point. You can actually move this square with your camera. You can have up to 5 to 77 different focus points in your camera depending on which one you have. And you can move that using the dials on the back, and you can choose which part of your picture you want to be in focus. So once you've selected what you want to be in focus, this is when we need to start looking at camera modes. It's also worth mentioning actually that you can use a group of focal points rather than just one square. You can change this using the dials, usually found on the back of your camera. Now, looking at different camera modes, we are going to be looking at manual focus, we're going to be looking at single focus, and we're also going to be looking at continuous focus. Now, it will be called different things depending on which brand of camera you have. I believe the continuous focusing is Nikon, and they call it servo focusing on Canon. And I'm just going to explain what these do, where I use them, and where you may want to use them. So first of all, we're going to look at shooting in continuous autofocus. You can select this on your camera. Usually it's located next to the lens. On my one it's down at the bottom right of the camera, and I actually have to hold down a button and use the dial as well to change it from single focus to continuous focus. Now, the point of continuous focusing is to take pictures of things that are moving. So I use this, for example, at football, if I'm taking pictures of birds in flight, or even pets moving, or children that won't sit still. This is probably going to be the best mode to use. Now, it works by, if you hold the shutter down and you just keep clicking, the camera's going to keep looking at your object and it's going to keep refocusing the camera. So if someone's running towards you, it should prejudge where they're going to be and then get them in focus. Now, the good side of using this is obviously if something's moving, it's going to be if something's moving, it's more likely to be sharp. It's by no means guaranteed because it's trying to guess where it's going to go, so it can actually get it wrong sometimes. So if you have a string of pictures, hopefully a few will be in focus, or a few might be out of focus. Okay, but the downside of this is it uses a bit more battery power. Where it's constantly refocusing, it's just going to use up a bit more energy. So if we're looking at a single shot focus, this is where we're going to be taking a picture of anything that's just not moving. So I use this when I take pictures of random objects, really. Like anything you can set up, this is going to be the perfect way to do it. So when you're using this mode, you literally just find your focus point, you hold the camera down, you hold the shutter of the camera down halfway, and then it will start to focus, and then when it's in focus, you simply just finish the shutter and you'll have your picture. So you can take a string of shots and you know that everyone's going to be sharp as long as your first one is. Now, this should take up less battery than the continuous focusing, and for that reason it's probably best to keep it on that mode if you're not taking a picture of anything moving. Now, some of the newer cameras have a mode which can switch between the two. I personally don't have this, so I've never used it, but the idea of this is it will automatically select the mode which it believes will be best for you. Again, it can be overridden if you want it to be. Now, the last one we're going to look at is going to be manual mode, and again, something to bear in mind with manual mode is sometimes you don't just set it on the camera, you can also have to set it on the lens sometimes, so you might want to check out for this if your camera is not focusing. Now, personally, I don't use manual a lot. Autofocus is so good now you don't really need to, apart from a few occasions. One of these is maybe if you're doing a wedding and they're throwing the confetti in the air, where the confetti can be in front of their face, it can actually make it really difficult for the autofocus to work. So in occasions like this is when I will use manual focus. Another time I might choose to use manual focus will be if I'm taking pictures of stars at night time. I'll try to look through the lens and get them sharp manually, so I know that when I keep clicking on the shutter release that the camera's not going to be readjusting the focusing, because it's going to be really hard for the camera to automatically pick up the stars in the low light. Now, at this level, that pretty much sums up everything you're going to need to know about focusing. There are some other tips and tricks we can use later on, and I will cover these in a later video. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Just look in the community Facebook group, and I'll see you in the next video.